Thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here. I mean, I know we've been trying to arrange to do this for a little while, but life gets in the way, and God knows what else.
Life gets away. I kena fong fake.
I know.
I'm just kidding, man.
No. I mean, I feel bad about it because, it was kind of like my last lesson in UCSI, and like, okay, I got coming over, and little did I expect that it was going to be so bad where it comes to parking. I mean, I know that in TTDI, where your studio is parking is kind of iffy on Fridays, but I think like the week we're supposed to do it was so like more iffy than usual, and I realized later it's because of Easter weekend.
Yep.
So I know there's a church nearby, so and like everyone's double parking and triple parking. So I think I was around the area for like half an hour, and I still couldn't find a spot. So I was like, oh, okay.
But I got to make this clear, right, for the benefit of those the viewers and listeners. We were supposed to do this actually last week.
That's right.
Yeah, but because of what you described, or parking around Taman Tun here, because when everything has reopened back, plus it was the Good Friday Easter weekend.
Right.
Traffic and parking was hell lah. And I have to say, I actually feel bad also because you had to wait around for half an hour. And when I heard that, I knew that, oh, okay, something must be out of the ordinary lah.
Yeah.
But here we are finally.
Yes.
It's good to see you, old buddy, old friend.
It's not, the feeling is mutual.
Yeah. How have things been, man? Since the last time we caught up a couple of weeks back.
Yeah.
We had coffee just down the street.
That's right. Things have been in many ways the same, in many ways different. I think work-wise, it's still kind of been the same for me. In a way that, like, I've just been doing a lot of teaching since the MCO started. Of course, online, but now that things are opened up, I've been able to teach face-to-face. So that's great, which means that parents of students or students themselves, they are a lot more keen to meet with me face-to-face. And that's great. So, I've been getting a little bit more students over the past few months, thankfully.
That's awesome, man. Of course, I've also seen your ads over at Facebook, or because of course we're Facebook friends, so it pops out on my stream lah. When I see ads for taking classes. I mean, not only you, some other of our friends also who are also musicians who are teaching, and then I see more of that. It's like, that's actually good. I mean, I see it as a positive sign,
Yeah.
Yeah, because I haven't been able to do this like face-to-face lessons for the past 2 years.
That's right.
Yeah, and like you said, how's the response been? Are the parents, are students not so apprehensive as they used to be? So a little bit more.
Well, I guess as we were talking, I think they're a lot less apprehensive than they used to be. I think, like when we first started to open up, and cases were still kind of low-ish, but not that low, and Omicron was still kind of around the corner. They were still a bit apprehensive, but some students were already like, okay, that's fine. They are just okay with it. So then they'll come to the studio. But I think now the apprehension level has definitely gone down. So a lot of them are happy to come to the studio, and
that's great.
And being a woodwind saxophone teacher, and I find that, or we find that the lessons are just so much more effective when we get to meet in person. But because that's how we've been doing it forever,
Yeah.
So it's the first time in history that we have to have lessons not face-to-face and electronically as well. So
because I reckon there's so many things that you can only, as a teacher, between a teacher and a student, you can only sort of diagnose, or by looking and hearing for yourself how the student is producing the tone, everything from the my French is not so good. How the hell do you say embouchure? Embouchure? Embouchure. Okay, right. Pardon my French. Yeah.
You're absolutely right about that, because that especially for wind instruments or really any kind of acoustic instruments, violin, and guitar, like unless both teacher and students have really good audio equipment, which obviously, that's not going to happen.
Nope. Yeah.
Like even with on my side, I've definitely invested in a little bit of audio equipment so that students can hear me well from their side, but a lot of students are either broadcasting or coming to lesson on their iPad, some phone, maybe every once in a while, maybe and at most a laptop. So they're all using their standard equipment microphones.
Yeah.
So sometimes I've had to tell them, okay, please switch on your original sound.
Right, yeah.
So, but it's really hard to feel the direct response of the instrument, and because it is acoustic instrument,
Yeah.
You need that physical feedback. We're not talking touching here. We're just talking like feeling the sound in the same room.
Yeah.
You just can't feel that, and it's hard for me to pick out what students need to work on, or what's wrong with it, or like what's wrong with their embouchure or their air or their finger. It's hard, especially for beginners, early level players. So that's the big challenge. Really.
Yeah. Because if they don't get that right, that element right, especially for beginners, then their whole pathway is kind of stunted already.
Yeah, I mean the tendency is to develop some bad habits on it. So and I mean if you can sort of detect the bad habits early enough, that's we can still kind of wean them off it, or get them to work on exercises to get used to new better habits, if I may say so. But it's just hard to do that online. It's so difficult.
Exactly, man. Yeah. There's just some things which obviously, cannot replace face to face. But I'm glad we are turning the corner lah.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too, really.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I speak for everybody when we say that we've just we're over the whole lockdown at least. I mean the pandemic, or I mean the virus itself, they're around.
Yeah.
So we just have to live with that. But I think we're all just over the lockdown.
Yes.
All of that. So I'm glad that we've reached to this point already.
Yeah. And I'll make sure I'll leave all the details, right? How people can get in touch with you, right? Sign up for classes with Julian if you want to learn, right? You want to learn pardon the joke again, you want to be a sexy instrument, you will learn to play the saxophone. Yeah. And maybe this is a good transition, right? Transition and segues, how, one of the things about this podcast is I wanted to, obviously with 2 years of social distancing and isolation from a lot of people, I miss all that interaction with people that were part of the journey, right, of my personal journey in the music industry and music career. Last week I spoke to Az, and then you are next, and then a lot of friends and people I've met along the way, right, along the whole path, and one of the very, very key people, right, key individuals, I have to say is you.
Wow.
Because if people who don't know, we go way back, man.
Way back.
We go way back.
Let me see.
Where did we first actually connect? I'm trying to call exactly.
Was it what, 99 around?
Uh-huh.
Did we meet before I went to Australia? Do you remember?
I not sure. That's the thing. When do you go?
Or could be after. I mean, I went to Australia. Okay, maybe I should backtrack a little bit. Even before meeting you, in fact, I met the rest of the Pop Shavi guys first, which is AJ. In fact, I met Rudy first. Rudy, and then later on AJ. So
we weren't Pop Shavit yet.
No, not yet.
Yeah, not yet.
Yeah. So that was probably between the years of 96 to 99, around there.
Yeah.
And then, and I think maybe we met before Australia. Maybe I don't remember. But I think yes. Actually, I think we did meet before Australia. We reconnected after we got back.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think, was it a Christmas gig that we did together?
Yes.
Actually, it was. You know why? Now I remember, because at that time I was studying in Metropolitan College around that time. So
Yes.
that was, I'd say, 99-ish. Yeah, I think that's where we met. I think it was for what was it?
I know it was a Christmas gig. I was thinking who pulled this together. It was John. I'm not sure whether was it Jonathan Wong. Do you remember Jonathan?
It might be Jonathan Wong.
It might be Jonathan. He was putting, he was organizing musicians to play for Christmas.
Yeah.
And I remember where this was at Mines.
Yes.
The Mines shopping mall.
Yes.
It was this corner of some furniture shop.
Yes.
So they were doing like promotion. So we were hired as this Christmas band. Who was it? Jimmy playing the drums?
Yes.
It was Jimmy Tan,
Jimmy Tan.
So that gig was Jimmy Tan. I don't remember who was playing the bass.
I think it was AJ.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't AJ. It could have been one of my church members, Woon Wai, I think.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So he's another person I have to talk to, because he's another person who is a very influential in my musical career, as in, guitar wise and picking up. He was a big influence as well.
Oh, wow.
I got to reach out to him and chat with him also lah. Yeah. So I remember. So it was you, obviously, like on saxophone, me, guitars, Funwa, and bass, Jimmy Tan. Right?
Yes.
On
Jimmy Tan.
Yes. And I met AJ because AJ came and dropped by I met him during that gig as well.
Oh, I see.
So AJ, I think, swung by one of those days that we were playing, and I met AJ there lah.
Okay. Wow. Wow.
Memories, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a really long time ago.
Yeah. That year, 99, 2000, I think, right? Besides that Christmas gig, I think that year I was quite busy lah, because I think Millennium, so a lot of activities, a lot of programs. Everybody was doing the 99, the year 2000 thing.
Yeah.
This was one of my first gigs ever lah, like actual paying gigs outside.
Wow.
It's not my first actually, right? Were you playing a lot of gigs around that time?
No, not yet, because I wasn't really in the gigging circuit yet at the time.
Yeah.
I think I was just trying to get around to meet new friends and new musicians. I mean, not at the I would say professional working people yet, but
not really. No. We were not professional at that time. Okay.
Yeah.
It's like
but I think
I was trying to fake our way through the thing, the gig. Okay. To be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I came from Kajang, right?
Yeah.
So Kajang is like just at the precipice of like KL, PJ kind of thing. It's kind of near but not that near. So I know that in KL, PJ there are a lot of I guess groups or whatever, people who are more connected at that time in music. For example, like the PJ. Last time there used to be this PJ Symphony Youth Band or something like that.
Yeah.
I remember I thought about wanting to join them or something like that, or like these little orchestras or people who meet, like they get to jam together and stuff. Like in Kajang, I barely get to meet this kind of people. The only close kind of music contact that I met in Kajang was this guy. I think his name is Shamso. I can't remember. I can't remember whether he's the drummer or a bass player. He used to play for this band called Blood something or Black something. I can't remember. It's a local Malay rock band that.
Ooh,
yeah.
When is the name Black and we got blood in it.
I can't remember.
Something brutal.
Not left-handed. It was another one of those kind of really prominent rock bands at the time. So
Black. Black Maria.
No.
Okay. That was another.
Yeah.
That's another band. Okay.
It was blood something first. Then they had to change it Black because Blood was a bit, not PC enough.
Terlalu black metal, isn't it?
Yeah, because they are like kind of a metal, like a rock band, and they were very good. Bloodhound or Blackhound or whatever.
Okay, right. Yeah.
So he opened up a little jamming studio right outside of my house in just a little shop lot. So I used to like go and hang out with him. I just walk outside from my house and just like go hang out with him.
Was it that row of shop houses that's in front, facing the road in front of your house?
Yes.
Where the mama was?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So there was a jamming. the jam studio is there. Okay.
Yeah. So he was from. I guess he stayed in Kajang and he just opened up a studio for people to jam. That was my only music contact back then. And of course, I was barely old enough to like have my own car or drive or whatever. So I'm just stuck around Kajang. So I guess when I got a bit older, I could travel to KL on my own or that. So of course I wanted to meet musicians or like music students, whatever, around my own age kind of thing. You see, so that's why I managed to meet people like Rudy and later on AJ. Believe it or not, through MIRC.
IRC.
Yes. So if some of you are
story, this dates us lah. Right?
Dates us very much.
Very
So MIRC is actually like our version of Discord, like today or something like that. So yeah,
ASL man back then.
Yeah, ASL.
And you would
ASL,
never
please.
ASL. Oh, ASL what?
ASL, please.
Oh,
PLS.
ASL. Right. Okay. Right. Yeah. And you could never tell whether the person you were talking to was really who they are or not.
I know.
Okay? There's no way to verify whether was it a dude or a girl or what.
I can personally attest to that.
That was weird times. Man.
Yeah, very weird times.
Very weird times, yeah.
So I mean, like having the opportunity to meet Rudy, AJ, and time, who else? Keng Tek, some of these guys.
Yes. Su Keng Tek, yes.
Yeah. So that was pretty awesome for me. So, we're just trying to get together and we used to meet in SS2 studio and
the Jam Studio.
The Jam Studio, right. Yes.
It's a legendary place.
I know.
Only the old OGs and the old otas will remember where Jam Studio and SS2 is lah.
Yep. So yeah, and we used to jam there like once every few weeks or something like that. So that was really enjoyable experience for me because I never got any kind of playing opportunity before that.
Yeah. And you would obviously have to make the trip all the way from Kajang over to, PJ, SS2 for that.
Yeah.
Wow. What a journey, man. Yeah. So, well, maybe this can sort of, let's backtrack and go a little bit further as well. It's my curiosity is being perked. When did you first pick up an instrument? What was your musical background growing up? In Kajang, what turned you on to music? And was saxophone your first instrument? Or you pick up something else first?
To my recollection, or my mom's recollection, I think they tried sending me to piano lessons before, but I have no recollection of that, to be honest.
Okay.
So my earliest...
That bad?
I think so. I think we all share some kind of story like that, isn't it?
The typical Asian childhood growing up. Yeah. Go ahead.
To be fair, they were just... they were open-minded enough to just send us to music class or something like that, just to let us try and see what we like. Of course, again, I do not recall the piano lesson thing. So my earliest music memory of picking up any kind of music instrument was actually in standard 4 or 5. So of course, back then in primary school or elementary school, we had music class in standard 4 or standard 5 or standard 6, I can't remember. So that was my first vivid memory of learning any kind of music, so playing little castanets, percussion and stuff, and recorder.
The recorder lah. Yes. Every Malaysian kid knows lah the recorder.
Yes, that's right. And we played recorder in class and learned songs from recorder. I actually learned how to read music at that time. Yeah. I didn't go to theory class or I actually learned to read the notes on music stuff at that time.
Wow.
And of course, my music teacher at the time told me that I was pretty good at it. I remember learning the entire Isabella song on recorder on my own, and I did that. But having said that, it wasn't that I felt like, oh man, I gotta do music at that time. I just did it and I got good results or whatever. The teacher thought I was quite talented.
Did you enjoy it? It was was it fun?
It was fun. Yeah, I mean, it definitely was fun, but it wasn't enough for me to think like, oh man, I gotta play music. I did not. It was not like that at all. I just like could pick up naturally, and it was fun to only to that extent. You know, I didn't realize that was the start of something. Then, of course, after primary school, you know, then that was it. I didn't really pick up any other instrument after that. But I was listening to a lot of music. I mean, a lot of us were because we listen to radio and everything. So listening to music is just part of what we do, even though it's just like pop music, nothing like heavy like classical music or anything like that. Or I wasn't even listening to jazz at the time, but was listening. I was listening to a lot of music.
Would it be fair to say it was music that our parents listened to, or the stuff they were listening in the car?
Yes.
So growing up, this is in the 80s lah, right?
Yeah.
So it was music and stuff that was in the 80s.
Yeah. It definitely was. You know, other than radio, my parents would play their cassettes and all of that stuff. So okay, you know, and sometimes I'll just take the cassettes that I have and I'll just put in the tape player and like just listen or something like that.
Yeah.
You know.
That was how we discovered and consumed music in the past, man.
Yeah.
I mean, nowadays it's so fortunate you can access everything and anything at the push of a button.
Yeah.
Back then it was...
Bro, it's not even a button, it's more like a screen.
Yeah, on the screen. Sorry. No button, screen now. Yeah, and it was... If it was on radio, it was whatever was being on that playlist.
Yeah.
It's not like you could go back and, I want to listen to that song again. You can't. If you
That's
wanted to, you would have to bootleg the thing lah. Have a cassette, record.
I've done that
radio.
too.
Yeah, I remember, making my earliest forays of going into actual recording. Yeah, I was making, I'm sure we did, making mixtapes. Copying from other cassettes and then making your own mixtape and then pass to your friends.
Yeah. Those are good times.
Yeah, those are fun times, man.
Yeah. Then so just to so then when I got to secondary school, life as a kid in Kajang is like, okay, it's usual. And I think the thing that really got me hooked was when I think it was 91 maybe 91. So I just started Form 1 or something. I just dated myself, like literally. But and I saw this magazine, this local music magazine. I can't remember what it's called already, but then it had a front page photo of Dave Koz playing his Yamaha silver-plated saxophone. Like, oh wow, that's interesting. And I heard his music on the radio, and I think the first track that was released on the radios was "Endless Summer Nights." So, which we already know was a Richard Marx tune. And then he played it. I'm like, whoa, what's that? Then I got his album and I just got hooked. I listened to that album like every day because I just loved what he was doing.
Yeah.
And that was the time that I realized, that I knew that, okay, I want to try playing a saxophone because I really, really loved the way he sounded and his style of playing and the music he was playing. I just loved it. So, and bear in mind that I've already heard of Kenny G and some of these guys before.
Right.
But it was Dave Koz, his first debut album, also under his name, was the thing that got me hooked on the saxophone.
It was like the gateway drug lah.
Yes. Yes.
The thing that got you into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So after months and months of pushing and begging my parents to let me play saxophone, they eventually did.
Yeah.
So I think it was only about half a year or a year later after that okay, I managed to find a saxophone teacher and also got my first saxophone. And
what was your first saxophone?
Okay. It was an old European brand called Amati. I got it secondhand, but I got it at the same time when I started going for the lessons. Now, I do like to tell this story. It's a bit of a
please
brag story, if you will. And the way I found this first lesson was through Yellow Pages, classifieds.
Wow.
On newspapers. So on newspapers, you either look for stuff in classified in newspapers back then, or Yellow Pages. So I looked and looked for like, okay, music instruments or music school or whatever. I made calls to some of these schools, some of the Yamaha Music or whatever center, and there were not many music centers back then. But no one offered saxophone lessons or solo saxophones, right? So I came across this ad for this school called Woodman's Academy or School of Music or something like that. They were based in Sentul, right? So I found out. I called them and said, okay, do you have saxophone lessons? Do you sell saxophone? Said, yeah, okay, they do. So my dad drove me there all the way to Sentul, and then I met them. And they sold me the second-hand saxophone, which, it was not in the best condition, to tell the truth. But I used it for a little while. And then I had my first saxophone lesson. I didn't stay too long in the school because I did find another teacher after that. So, and I used to travel from Kajang to Sentul on my own. I'll take the bus, 572 bus from Kajang, right outside my house, travel to Sina Kota, take a metro bus to go to Sentul and walk into the house where they had the center.
It was in a house. It wasn't even like a shop lot.
No, it was in a house behind one of the shutters. I mean,
wow.
Yeah. So
and how long would each leg of the journey take?
Like one direction, probably about 2 hours.
2 hours to go to, one way 2 hours. And it was once a week class.
Once a week class.
For
half an hour.
A half an hour class.
Yes.
So you had to spend literally 5 hours, let's say, 5 hours in total. 2 hours traveling for a half an hour class and 2 hours back.
Yeah.
Man. That's a lot of dedication. And
I think if you look at it from today's point of view, it might seem like that. But I think when we go through it at that age or at that time, it seemed like, okay, that was like, no, it's not to say it wasn't anything. It was just more like, okay, we just did it. We didn't think too much about it. It's amazing that our parents just allow us to just travel on our own, like that.
Yep. Yeah.
That's not going to happen today.
Yeah.
So I mean, it was
but 2 hour bus ride to and fro, man. I mean, I used to study in my school was in center of school, so, and that was at least minimum bus ride was 45 minutes .
There you go.
I can't imagine when taking a bus all the way from Kajang. What was it? What bus company was it?
The one from Kajang to Sina Kota was this company called 4Hub.
Oh, 4Hub. Oh my goodness.
Yep.
These kind of,
you
don't hear these days anymore.
No.
You had 4Hub, you had Selangor Omnibus, you used to have Srijaya, Lengseng.
Lensing. I think Lensing also passed by Kajang as well. So sometimes I'll take the Lensing bus if I'm not mistaken.
Goodness.
Yeah. So I remember the 4Hub bus was 572. I remember.
Wow. That number is permanently, seared into the memory.
Yes.
Yeah. So moving fast forward, right, to your progression from there until, let's say, around circa 99, where we first connected. How fast was your progression in saxophone?
I wouldn't say it was terribly fast, but it wasn't too slow either. I the way I learned to play the saxophone, the way I would say developed was through mostly playing by ear. Because after, like I said, I didn't stay too long at that women's school place. I found another teacher who was Filipino. And he used to work in RTM. He was a trumpet player and he plays saxophone as well. So I studied with him for about, I guess, quite a few months, maybe a year even. Then after that, I was mostly on my own because, he moved away or something.
Right.
I don't remember.
Do you remember his name?
Boy Karma.
Boy Karma. Okay, all right.
Yeah, so he used to work in RTM back then, and I used to go to RTM to visit him, and we have lessons or something. Then after that, I was basically on my own, and the way I used to learn was just like trying to find notes on my own. I knew where the notes were, I knew where the keys were, and everything. So it was just a matter of like, okay, let's say I want to learn a song, and so I'd spend hours just listening to the song and try to pick out notes just by ear.
Yeah.
it was very hard to get any kind of sheet music for saxophone back then.
Yeah.
Very limited. Not like now, it's so easy. So I had to learn everything by just listening to it by ear, picking out the notes, and so now I'd spend like weeks learning one song or something like that.
Wow.
So yeah, that was that was kind of happening for many years. Then of course, like when I got to jam with other musicians back then, I was playing entirely by ear. Like the concept of even something like improvisation, for example, I didn't even know it was that name. It was just like, okay, you play the melody, and then sometimes you noodle some something, somewhere along the way, kind of thing, and
just jam it.
Yeah, just kind of
jam it.
Jam it. Or I think the term that they used to use was ad lib.
Oh, okay.
So that was basically what I did, and I was just using my ear most of the time. Like, okay, I try to hear notes that sound nice. Okay, and I just try to play it or something like that. So it wasn't a very schooled way of doing things, and I didn't even really have a sort of a proper teacher until like in 2001. So yeah, that's how it was back then, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was a lot of self-taught, a lot of trial and error. I would say.
Absolutely.
Yeah, a lot of trial and error. Then fast forward to around the time where I got to know you. When was your what was your very first gig? Like, do you remember or not? What was like the actual, besides that Christmas thing that we did?
I think you mean like if you're saying like my first ever public performance,
maybe that.
I think it was for some Rotary Club event that my dad organized. I mean, my dad was part of. I mean, he was part of a Rotary Club back then. I think I just played saxophone for 7 months. 7 months. Then he got me to play a song at some Rotary Club function or whatever.
Yeah.
And some other ones that I remember was also taking part in a competition that was organized by maybe not Warner Music at the time.
One of the
record
companies, one record company.
I think it was BMG. I think
okay.
In Malaysia, and they organized a Kenny G saxophone competition or something like that.
Yeah.
So we had other saxophone players that joined, and oddly enough, I also met some really I would call my seniors, like Abang Muris. I met him there.
That's right.
I met,
Muris.
And I knew, of course, Abang Jimmy Sax.
Yes.
I knew from RTM. RTM, he also joined, and a few others. So I also joined a competition. I didn't win, of course, because I was still a kid in many
going
sense.
up against those guys.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So but it was cool. It was a cool experience. And other events were like I think I did one Valentine's thing for a church. Just outside of Metropolitan. I can't remember. My friend, he knew me, I think through Jonathan as well. So I did a Valentine thing, and I played the Celine Dion's My Heart Will Go On. That I remember.
Yeah.
So yeah, little gigs like this. Like,
yeah. Well, any that stand out, and any that stand out besides those that you mentioned?
I think for paid gigs, I think those are the ones that stand out the most during that time.
Were you paid for those gigs? I mean, the Valentine's Day one.
I actually don't remember.
Like, when was the first paid gig?
Oh, my first paid gig was probably after I graduated from the university in Australia I studied in. I went to Metropolitan, and then I did a training program in Australia. After I came back, I wanted to try to get into the music scene. So my first paid gig was really being a replacement musician for one of those hotel lounge gigs. There was I think it's still there, Shook in Star Hill.
Wow, yes.
Yeah. So because I already had some connection with people in the industry through the musician friends that I had back then, like Thomas Tessera, who's
Right.
my mentor for a long time.
Right.
So I think he recommended me to, some of the agents that were recruiting musicians to play in those hotels.
Yeah.
So I did a few replacement gigs then, and that's really how I started my music career. Really.
Wow. That's a fascinating story, man. Yeah. This was what year was this? Because you went to study in Australia in
99.
99,
Yeah.
right? And then but you were there for
Just a year and a half.
year and a half lah. I remember we were chatting also during those
That's
times.
right.
I think we had already moved on to ICQ at that time.
Yes.
It was no longer IRC, it was
Yes.
ICQ.
That's right.
Yeah. By the time, but the cool thing was because you were in Perth. Perth was same time zone as KL,
Exactly.
so it was like,
was
that
easy to
works out.
chat.
That was
Yeah.
still easy to chat.
That's right.
Yeah. So then you came back in 2000,
Yeah.
2001,
2000.
Yeah. So coming back that was then lah. When you mentioned Star Hill, when you mentioned there, I also had my first paid gig there at Star Hill.
Really?
Yes. Not at Shook. God,
Wow.
I'm not the level or standard of Shook, okay? I can tell you what my first paid gig was. Again, I was around that 99, 2000 era lah, where everything was busy, a lot of events were going around. So I guess, there were not enough musicians. So they just
Wow.
pluck whatever
Anyone.
the college music
Right.
students are lah.
Okay.
So my first paid gig, was around Christmas time. I think it was 99, 2000 or so. I was playing guitar with Wong Pek Fui.
Oh wow.
remember her?
Oh wow.
It was a guitar and clarinet duo
Wow. That's amazing.
in front of the entrance of Star Hill, where now there's a big Sephora.
Yes.
So we stood out there, and then people were all walking the crowd there.
Yes, I remember that. I think was it the one where they had a little sort of a pop-up kind of a
Yeah.
place and like a
Yes,
a
there was a little cafe there.
Yes.
Yeah, it was there. Occasionally there was a third, maybe another second guitarist, and occasionally there was a percussionist.
That's right.
But primarily it was always two musicians. It was always
Yeah.
a duo. So it was me and Pek Fui.
Wow.
But she
That's
was my senior lah,
Yeah.
and I was this little kid, Julian, trying to bluff my way. We would mix stuff from the real book and also maybe some contemporary modern hits here and there lah, and some Christmas
Wow.
tunes lah.
Wow.
So that really, is also something I really remember and treasure that memory. Actually, it wasn't that bad playing outdoors because most people are just walking around.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
like people not really paying attention. They're just trying to get from one place to another.
True.
But occasionally you have some people who will stop lah.
Yeah.
So
But it was kind of a novelty back then as well.
yeah.
Oddly enough, that spot, I actually never played a gig at that particular spot.
Yeah.
I remember that spot. There's always that musician that play on that sort of outside spot,
Yes.
and then the inside spot where Shook is, and then another place in a hotel.
Shook and hotel inside, that was where the real cats were playing lah. Okay, outside that one was all the all the newbies lah, like me lah. Okay.
Yeah, I would have loved to play that one too, but I think somehow I just never get called
Yeah.
to do that one.
Okay, I'll tell you one more thing funny. Also around that same period, right? There was also, I know, a lot much closer to Christmas. Again, I was on as a replacement. This one was in KL Plaza. So same vicinity,
Okay.
KL
yes.
Plaza, right? Which is now Fahrenheit 88.
Yes.
So this one, I was contacted by an agent or somebody passed my number or something like that. I was a replacement guitarist. Now, this band was a 4-piece Mexican band. As in Mexican mariachi style band.
Wow.
So, okay, I can tell you this. Okay, so it was 4-piece. I know it was like three guitars and then one guy really with the bass. I
Wow.
forgot what's the name of his call lah. The one that
Yeah.
plays the bass one, that big guitar.
Yes.
I think I was playing a steel string, and then the other two were like playing because I don't have a nylon guitar.
Right.
But
Right.
okay lah. They said never mind though. Who cares? It's whether it's authentic or not authentic. I was going with a steel string guitar. But that gig, they got uniform, got dress code. So
I can totally imagine what it'd be like already.
it's that floral dress with the big ass
Mariachi
Mexican hat.
sombrero.
The sombrero. I played that one gig, right? And after that, I said, no more, I'm not going to play this gig anymore. I felt so stupid.
Gosh, I hope I paid at least pretty good.
I don't remember lah. I was okay lah. You know, back then we weren't really counting or calculating.
Yeah, that's true.
know.
That's true. I think we would just try to accept anything, any kind of gig just because we wanted the experience and just
then I did that once, and it's like, fortunately, it was just a replacement gig lah. Just a replacement. And one gig, one night. After that, it's like, sorry, I'm not available. It's because,
Do you guys even rehearse for that one?
No rehearsal. It's like show up for the gig. Everything I have to. I don't even know what the set list is. They already obviously had their set list.
Right.
It's just straight away play by ear.
Wow.
It's like whatever. But fortunately, a lot of it's simple lah. You could just it's a lot of C, A minor, F, G, C, A minor, F, G. A lot of that. And they play a lot of Christmas carols. So
I see. I see.
They just Latinize it, Mexicanize it lah, a little bit lah.
I'm curious. Do you remember who was in the band?
I don't remember. I honestly don't know. I don't know anyone in there.
Wow.
I was just contacting my agent. Just show up, show up. Nah, wear this. The hat. It's like, oh shit. But the thing is that I don't know. It was traumatic lah, maybe lah. Because you see, because it was such a visual sight.
Yeah.
Right. A lot of people stopped and watched. Okay.
Oh,
because it was a unique, special sound.
The uniform and everything.
So
Yeah.
it's like, I hope none of my college mates or any musicians see me. So I'm telling you this story lah.
That's a great story though. That's a great story. I've never played for a Mexican band, so
yeah. But anyway. So that I sorry for sidetracking and making that about me, but just trying to,
trade old stories,
trade old stories of our first forays into the music scene.
Yeah. I mean that's how far both of us, far way back that both of us go. So,
but definitely all those experiences, I would say, it's formative lah.
Yeah.
The experience. The experience of getting in front of people, learning material on the spot, trying to act professional in front of people, and also dealing with on the business side of things, because now you had to realize things such as pay, how much money you were supposed to get, how you were supposed to expect, or you're supposed to be your set list, you have to plan, you have to show up here and there at decent time, and on the side also rehearse whenever there was opportunity to. So the side of the musician's life where maybe most people don't see.
That's true.
The practicing, dealing with the business side.
Yeah.
I
mean, especially once you get into the area where people are hiring you to I guess perform a service, really.
Yeah.
So all the work that goes behind it is it's definitely something worth mentioning to people. At least they kind of know, okay, it's not always fun. I think what many people may think that, okay, you play music that you get to enjoy yourself kind of thing. That's not really the case for when you are doing it as a professional. If you're doing it as a hobby or something, yes, I think that applies. But as a professional, that's actually far from it. It requires so much work that goes behind making each show that you play or each event that you play, sound good. It's a lot of definitely a lot of work and commitment.
Yes, yeah. I mean, not to disregard that. Yes, you do need to still you do need to, at the core of it, enjoy and still have fun. But there's a lot of work behind this, the scenes that people don't see lah. Yeah. So musicians should be paid, if not paid abundantly, they should be paid appropriately lah.
I agree.
And recompensed, okay, yeah. And they should be at least given a if you got a wedding, should at least give them one table lah. Okay, don't just send the food to them at the back.
Yeah.
But never mind. That's another.
Yeah, that's another story for another day or something.
So what happened when you came back from Australia, and what you went to next?
Yeah, and I guess at the same time where I started to try my hand at being a professional musician in Malaysia, I was actually taking formal lessons with Greg Lyons. So I realized that at that time, okay, I really wanted to get better at my instrument, but not just getting better, but actually to learn, to know what I'm doing, rather than just rely on my ear all the time and sort of like aiming or trying to, like if you're trying to like shoot darts or whatever, you see, just like aimless shooting kind of thing. So I don't really want that anymore. I want to be like really certain about what I'm doing. So I decided to ask Greg if he could take me as a student, and which he did. And I studied with him for 4 years. While that's going on, I was also working as a professional musician. So I did a lot of replacement gigs. Oddly enough, I've never taken contract, work in a contract length,
right? I see.
For those gigs, mostly replacement. But I was also fortunate enough to start to have a bit of a reputation, or at least by word of mouth or whatever, that I've been getting a lot of events to play, functions, corporate events, weddings, stuff like that.
Yep.
And also as that grew, then I began to work with like some of the professional, I shouldn't say professional, but the top guys in the Malaysian music scene, people like Mac Chu, Josie Thomas, and Michael Verapan, those kind of cats. I mean, those are the top rung.
Those are the legend.
Yeah. So that was a real blast, in the sense that it was a big learning experience for me, and I grew a lot just from that. Not just in terms of learning about music, but learning about what it's like being a professional musician, a band leader, a sideman, everything. I mean, I learned the skills of being a professional musician from working
with
as a sideman with these people. So that was and I'm still learning a lot from them still.
Yeah, I mean, there's no replacement for this kind of real life experiences of gigging and playing, man. Especially with this is you cannot sign or enroll in any course or degree or certificate to give you this kind of education, man.
Yeah, definitely.
So your classes with Greg were so how often were they?
Once a week. Yeah. So private lessons, I'd go to his place and and learn.
Was it in Heritage?
Yes.
That that place.
That place.
The place that was infested with ICOM students.
Yes.
That's what I call it.
Not just ICOM students, but crazy traffic. Like,
Oh yeah, I mean, Jalan Pahang,
yes.
Setapak area.
Yes, the roundabout. Let's just say it was always a challenge to get there. It was always a challenge because the traffic every single time, whether it's a weekend, maybe worse on the weekends, but every weekday it's always jammed. So it's always been a challenge to get there.
Oh man, yeah. Apparently the traffic's not so bad now, because now you have all the Duke Highway and everything, so it disperses. But students would rather walk all the way from those who stayed, ICON students who stayed at Heritage. They'd rather walk than take transport. Right?
Yes.
Because it's so much faster to just walk.
It would have been, yeah.
So there was lessons every week, and did you like play with any of his ensembles or?
I did.
That time? Yeah.
I did. In fact, I guess he was kind enough to let me join in his big band.
Yeah.
Let me see.
Was it what was it called? Was it still under the Grooveworks thing, or was it called something
Grooveworks
else?
was much later.
Much
In fact,
later.
I think he formed this big band called Emergency Brake Ensemble.
Yes, yeah, Emergency Break, yeah.
So he did it with his ICOM students. So
Correct. And then I remember they play a lot Actor Studio, right?
yes,
You were also playing
Yeah.
in that. So
Yeah.
I remember.
so that's when I
The Dataran Merdeka there.
yes Plaza Putra.
Yes, exactly. Wow. I
Yes.
remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, those were part of my formative years as a
Mm.
professional musician. Was that, yeah, Greg got me to play in his big band. So for 6 months, then it got disbanded, unfortunately.
Was it that short? Really?
No, the band
band?
was around for a few years, I believe.
Mm.
It just so happened that when I joined the band, that I think was early 2001, I believe,
Mm.
and we the shows that I did with them was at the Actor
Yeah.
Studio Plaza Putra.
Yep.
We did that, and then when Actor Studio shifted to Bangsar,
Right. Yeah.
so I did that with them.
Yes,
I think
yeah.
every month or something like that. And then the last show that I remember doing with them, and that was the last show that the band ever did, was the Phillips International Jazz Festival at Stadium Putra in Bukit Jalil. I think
Okay.
they had Dinah Crawl. That was
Right,
it.
I
I think
see.
Dinah Crawl came for the first time.
Mhm.
Yellow Jackets, James Morrison.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So, and of course the Emergency Brake Ensemble, and James Morrison sat in with us on Night in Tunisia. So that was the last Emergency Brake Ensemble we ever did. And after
I
that,
see.
that was that.
I see. Yep. Yeah. I didn't realize that it was that short. It felt, I don't know, it felt like it was longer. Yeah.
I think it was longer for the band as a whole. It's just that
Mm.
the duration I was in with the band was only about 6 months. I was like, I felt, I wish it could have been longer.
Yeah. But it was cool because it was mainly made up of students.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
His students, in fact.
His students. Yeah. I mean, I was one of his students,
Yeah.
or ensemble students, but maybe because as a guitarist, right? So we kind of like at the sideline ignored a little bit. So we're just there to, but no lah, because look, in the ensemble class, there's so many students to handle.
That's
anyway.
true.
So
That's true.
And in a big band setting, guitarist just. Tung, cik, 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 cik. That's all we do. Okay. Sedang je. Okay. Don't even have to do full voicings also. Just simple voicings only.
But did you ever play with Emergency on Brake
No.
Ensemble?
I was never that. I think who played guitar? Was it Jason?
It was
Jason. You remember Jason?
It was either Jason.
Yeah.
But I think when I joined the band, it was David Patrick.
David Patrick. Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, I miss that guy also, man. Yeah.
Man, that
he
guy
and his fishing, his love for fishing. Still to this day,
Yes.
on his Facebook page, everything he posts is about fishing.
Man, that guy is man, I don't know what to say about David Patrick, man. He's such a monster on guitar.
Exactly. Man.
Maybe that's why it's like he's for him playing guitar is like a piece of cake. So
he makes it seem very effortless.
I think it really was for him, so he'd rather do something more challenging like fishing.
But
which is
awesome.
cool.
Which is cool. And it's awesome dudes. Yeah. Yeah, it was usually, it was Jason or David. Yeah, these guys.
Yeah.
Who was playing piano back for Emergency Break?
Oh gosh, I can't remember. I think did Michael play at the time? No.
No.
Eugene Subo.
Oh right, Eugene. Right.
Yes.
Oh man,
yes.
that's another guy. Where is he right now?
I believe he is back in Kuching. I think from last I heard, he works with the RTM in the Kuching branch, I guess.
Right.
Yeah. I think I saw him play online for a Borneo Jazz Festival thing that they did during the lockdown. And he was one of the bands that was playing. It's like, wait a minute, that's Eugene. Like, I've not heard from him for
in a long
ages.
time. Yeah. Chop. Let's segue and cut for a while because I think the video ran out. I got to extend it.
Okay.
Yeah. Are you good?
Good.
Yeah, folks, we're back. Okay.
Yay.
Where were we just now? Yeah. So that's like, emergency break. And I remember during that time, there was a lot of festivals going on.
Yes.
Obviously here in KL, you had the one that's the ones most ready to come to mind is Sunrise.
Yes.
Yeah, I know you played for that. You played with who there?
I think the Sunrise Jazz Festival at Plaza Montiera. Yeah, that's the place. I think it ran for about 4 years,
Yep.
I believe. So the first year that I attended, I did not play. That was like N2000 or something like that. And then 2001, I got recruited into Josie Thomas's band.
Yeah.
So I played for that. And then I also did my own band, I think that same year, but I played the following year. So I played with my band called Happy People Quintet.
Right.
And Noreen Aziz was on that gig as well.
Yes, correct. Yeah.
But I did play for some other bands also, but I think it was with Josie Thomas, or could have been with David Gomez band as well. So I was quite lucky enough to be part of those festivals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
was
many,
great.
so many people. I know.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to categorize it as like sideman thing, but I think sometimes, it's not. Sidemen also play an important role.
Yeah.
Yeah, and an important thing. You may not be the group band may not be, your name or something like that, but I think it's a key element lah. Yeah.
I definitely think so too. I mean, I've been a sideman to many bands for a long time.
Yes.
And I think for me it was a great opportunity to really learn about leadership because I learned a lot about what being a good leader
Band leader
is like. So I also learned about what not to do.
What not to do, what the bad band leader is like. Okay.
I mean, I wouldn't say bad or anything. It's just kind of like, it's like, okay, there are things that I agree with, and there are also many things that I don't agree with. It's not to say that bad, because everyone has their own, I guess, the way they feel about things, the way they feel that things should be ran or anything like that. So sometimes there are things that I don't personally agree with. I mean, of course, I'm not going to like fight with the band leader about it.
Yeah.
But if I were to lead my own band or anything, I know that okay, these are the things that I will do, and there are also other things that I do not want to implement because I feel differently about like how to treat people or like how to interact with other musicians.
how to run the ship lah.
Yeah, that's right.
As the captain, how whether the ship sinks or floats has got a lot to do with not only the crew but the captain has a leadership lah.
Yeah.
And I'm sure this is, again, it's nothing personal. It's all business. You see, it's just a matter of how you keep this organization, so to speak. A band, an ensemble, a quintet, or whatever, right? It's still in the end an entity, a type of organization, and you have to have systems. You have to have procedures, SOPs, everything in place.
Yeah.
I mean, not so strict as in SOPs, lah. That word, yeah. But I'll get to that later because I know we've had this talk about you being always in the sideman in the band as part of someone else's project and ensemble, and we'll get to that. I'll get down to that in a while. Yeah. Hey, but then after that period of time, you went overseas to study.
I did.
Yeah,
I did.
And we start. It was like, hey, I was like, alamak, Julian went away for a long time. We missed you for a while. Yeah. So that was in New York.
Yeah.
Right.
It was in New York.
That what year was that?
I left for New York in 2008, and I moved back here early 2011. I think March. I remember I arrived. Yeah, March.
So that's like good 3.5 years, almost 4 years, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was at
Queen's College. So I studied my master's in Queen's College.
Yeah.
Or the school is called Aaron Copland School of Music under Queen's College, which is one of the many colleges under City University of New York. So
Not NYU. Not NYU. NYU is different.
no, NYU is a private
Okay.
university.
So this was. I see.
So City University of New York, or CUNY we call it, is under City Council of New York.
Right. I see.
So just to give a background on about the geography, New York State is very big.
Yeah.
It's really, really big. You know, like Massachusetts or you know, like
And it's got
Westchester, all that. That's under New York State, which is more countryside in a way.
Yeah.
And then you have New York City.
It's got all and its boroughs.
Yeah, it's on its borough, Manhattan, Brooklyn, Queens.
Yeah.
So that's under City Council. It's kind of like, for us, is like KL is under DBKL.
Yeah.
And Selangor is under Selangor Council, something like that.
I see.
So the public schools are listed under City University of New York. So Queen's College and Aaron Copland School of Music is under City University. So I actually went to study in a public school, public university, but I still have to pay, out of state fees for that.
Yeah.
But it was a great program.
Yeah.
Because
So share us with us, how was your experience over there? Yeah.
Sure. And basically, this program under Queen's College was started by a jazz legend by the name of Mr. Jimmy Heath, and he was one of the really OG guys of jazz music. I'm talking really OG to the point, in the sense that he's played with Charlie Parker, Dizzy Gillespie, those guys. So it's the late Mr. Jimmy Heath, by the way.
Right.
So he started a program. I think because it's to give an opportunity to students of music who cannot afford private universities. So he did under the City Council. So, and my professor Antonio Hart took over the program. A few of them, like Michael Mosman, who is a great trumpet player and arranger, also worked with people like Dizzy Gillespie, Jerry Mulligan. So when I went to Queen's College at the time, Michael Mosman was the director of the program, and later on was Antonio. So I met my teacher Antonio there, and he is a big influence in my development as well. So I studied my master's program for 2 years, and I stayed in New York for another year just to hang out and try to do something there, which didn't last very long.
Well, no, it's just being there was already
definitely a great experience.
Yeah, great experience. It's more to learn and to absorb the things there. What was the big? Was it a big change for you? Not just obviously in terms of the culture or the location, but just being immersed inside the New York, that music scene. How was it like for you?
It's life-changing. I would tell any music student who is serious into learning jazz, learning music. There are a lot of things that you can learn in New York, being there. So I would say it's overall very transformative. And just being immersed, just being in New York City, learning about jazz music from people who I would say are strong authority, I guess. That means people who are part of the jazz lineage, if you will.
Yeah, exactly.
And just being around music 24/7, meaning that there are shows every single night.
Yep. Yeah.
There are so many shows happening every single night. There's a monthly booklet about the happenings of shows, jazz, only jazz shows in the city.
Yep.
And they are free booklets. You actually can go to the jazz club and grab one, and you really have to choose where you want to go. You kind of have to plan. Okay, I want to go to this gig at this point, at this date, and all that. You know? And then you just go and watch. And there are jam sessions every night. So
I also when I went there with the guys in 2012, but you had already moved back here. We spent one night at one jazz club, and it was mind blowing, I don't even know who these guys are that were playing. Like we just randomly walked into one, right? Small crowded place, and it
Yeah.
was like the level there, obviously lah, right? The level there is like uh, it's
It's really high.
yeah,
It's really
it's
high.
it's really high. It's really like an astronomical level compared to what we have over there.
I mean, that's. I guess we also need to note that New York is like the center in that sense, the center of a lot of arts and culture and music.
Mm.
So, like, it's kind of like KL. I mean, it's KL is a far cry from New York,
Yeah.
but if you think of it in Malaysia,
Yes.
then when people want to find work and want to succeed in a particular field that that involves having to move to KL to make it,
Yep.
because whether they move back or not that's another thing lah.
Yeah.
But a lot of them want to come in because they want to reach whatever potential that they can.
Mm.
So New York City is like that as well. So which means that if you go to some of the other states in America, you will also find players, musicians of every kind of level,
Yeah.
from the worst to very good as well.
Yep. Yep.
But they will congregate in New York because that's where
It's like the Mecca.
yeah,
you
it's
know?
kind of like the Mecca, and they want to try to make it, or they want to get better, or they want to learn, so they will go to New York. So that's the center,
Yeah, if
So
you can make it there, you can make it everywhere, as the saying
Exactly.
goes, as the lyrics, as the song goes, right?
Yeah.
Any like really memorable highlights of the years in New York, the
Wow.
New York years, or there's too many?
There's really too many. I mean,
Ooh.
it's made up of a lot of small little events, small little experiences that make up, the entire experience. I think because I did spend that long in New York City, so it made up. I had many little experiences that that contribute to the entire experience, I would say. Yeah, I mean, the fact that I got to go to New York and study with Antonio is already a big event for me.
Yeah.
And I get to see him almost every day, like for lessons, private lessons once a week, ensemble lessons, also every week. So like I get to see him twice, but I got to hang out with him as well. So it's a very cumulative thing. I think if you are there for a short period of time, the chances of you experiencing something that is life changing, like a sudden spurt kind of thing, that's more likely to happen if you're there for a short time. But if you're there for an extended period of time, I think every little thing is such a big event already. But because you're there and you're immersed in it, so it's kind of like you're just going through it,
Right.
kind of thing. Now when I think back about it, every single experience, or every smaller experience accumulates into this big, giant, life-changing experience for me in a way.
So what would your advice be if, let's say, a musician who's let's say maybe already studying music here and now, and then they feel like they want to further their option overseas. Obviously, right, the one that always comes to people's lips is always Berkeley, Boston. But New York is very, very viable place as well.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, what would your perspective be? What are the things that someone who's considering studying music overseas, what are the things that they have to take into account?
Well, I think, like, I would say, do your best to be as prepared as possible to go there. I mean, granted, no one will ever really be fully prepared to go there, because when you're there, it's going to be like, bam, you're gonna get a massive experience, getting your butt kicked. It will be, no matter how how ready one may think they may be when they're there and they go and study and all that. It will be a very challenging experience for them. So
Yeah, imagine going to a class and then or walking to street and this 13, 14-year-old kid is running rings around the chops that are killer chops, right?
Yeah, and
Some young, yeah.
exactly.
Mm,
And that's precisely my experience as well. But I think we just have to accept that that's going to happen.
yeah.
And it's either you feel challenged that enough that okay, I want to like really practice even more than I ever used to, and just get better and just do what it takes to be better than what you were yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
That challenge and that motivation will be there. It's either that or you'll be so severely demotivated you might actually quit.
There's a chance of that happening, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm. I had this similar kind of chat with us as well. We're talking about, the possibility of sometimes there is always a risk of people burning out, and that's a real risk. Some very talented people who may be sometimes super motivated, they have a lot of energy and enthusiasm, but sometimes when they get into a situation where, let's say, things are not moving as fast as they want for their career, or they're finding obstacles, there's always a chance that people burn out and give up or get frustrated, man.
Yeah.
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 There's always that risk and that danger lah. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it's really all about managing expectations. I mean, it's easy for me to say that, but I think when we experience it it is challenging.
Mm-hmm.
I think the one thing I do recall for myself, I mean, I think for everybody it'll be very different, and I think I would give different pieces of advice to different people depending on their circumstances,
Right.
depending on where they are at the point. So it's really difficult to give a blank
General
advice.
I see.
But I think one good thing to maybe take into consideration is that just be open-minded about things,
Mm.
and be humble, I guess. Humility goes a long way, and I'm not talking about the kind of like humble brag kind of humility, but really be sincere and be open about learning new things, and not allow the fact that there are a lot of people who are just better than you
Mm-hmm.
to sort of like demotivate
Right.
ourselves. I mean, and everybody is different. Everybody comes from different backgrounds, and everyone starts at a different place.
Mm-hmm.
So I think when we can accept that we are here right now, and we'll just do whatever we can from this starting point and just get better, and not be too affected by how good other people are playing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think if you can get to that point in your head, in your heart, then it's a lot easier to deal with, or a lot less challenging to deal with, because let's face it, there'll always be someone who will be better than you.
Mm-hmm.
But there's also a very strong chance that you might be better than the other person in other ways.
Yeah.
So
And we just have to accept it,
Yeah.
That's humans and humanity,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. Not everyone can be like, the best at absolutely everything. And everyone's got will have their own personal growth trajectory.
yes.
You cannot expect this person's, to mimic their life and just have that apply and expect
Yeah.
the same thing to happen to you when circumstances surrounding you are different.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's pretty cool, man. Yeah, to have an open mind, about it. I guess if people want to have that advice, they got to contact you then.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, they have to get in touch with you. Anyone who wants to learn, they have to personally contact you. Maybe sign up for lessons and class.
Yes, please do. If you know anyone, or if you're interested to learn saxophone with me,
Yeah, no worries.
you know where to
Definitely.
find me.
Yeah, we know where to find you, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, that's cool. So before and after, so that, and then coming back, that's already 11 years already lah, since
Yes.
you've been coming back, and then back here. I mean, when people talk about saxophone, you need sax, right? Always the first person that comes to mind is always Julian lah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think so.
Yeah.
No, but there are a lot of actually other amazing saxophone players in Malaysia out there, and my colleagues, my seniors, they are killing it as well.
Yeah. What's next, man? What's next for Julian Chan?
Well, I interestingly enough, I think I'm sort of in an interesting phase right now where we've chatted about this before, that I'm moving on a slightly different trajectory of work or my career, in fact. So one of the reasons why I'm putting out a lot of like little ads or Facebook reels and all that, or Instagram reels about me taking students and all that, is because I'm actually very into developing that side of my career. I've been a performer for a very long time. Like, let's say I started
20 years now.
Yeah, 22 years. And as much as I love performing, I think there's a risk of also burning out from doing too much of it. I think I have a lot more stronger passion for performing than I do for teaching. I love teaching, and I really enjoy teaching students more than I have ever used to. And I started teaching even since, I guess, early 2000s. When I started being a professional musician, I just started teaching a little bit here and there. But I'm really enjoying teaching a lot more now as I've grown older, and working with a different range of students, whether they are amateurs, beginners, college students, because really that I enjoy like being able to help students kind of get to a goal that they want to. I mean, not everyone wants to be a professional saxophone player.
Yeah.
Maybe they just want to play for fun.
Yeah.
So I enjoy the process of helping them to do that. So I'm actually working on increasing my student base as well. And on the performing side, I find that I really enjoy performing. That's why having too much of what you like sometimes can also be not very can be counterproductive.
Yeah,
I would say
too much roti and nasi lemak and also will have some negative side effects.
Yeah,
right.
And I do admit that because I've been a performer for such a long time, I concentrate so much on the performance side of things that it came to a point, especially during the pandemic, during the MCO and everything, where suddenly I have no performing jobs whatsoever.
Yeah.
So I realized that that I actually got burnt out from it. So and because of MCO, we can't perform and everything. Yeah. So it gave me a lot of space to just assess my life as a musician, or life in music really. And I now feel that I still love to perform. I really enjoy performing. That's why I get to do my live streams, or if I do little shows here and there, I'm actually quite happy about it. But I'm not doing too much until that it becomes a job.
Right.
I mean, it's still a job, but not a job. You know? So and I guess I'm a little bit more selective with the performing jobs that I'm taking these days, which I don't mind.
Yeah.
So
I think we need to be, and we can afford to be selective also.
That's right.
Yeah.
I think there's different stages in the performer's life, or a person in music, because obviously not everyone will be a performer, and everyone have different objectives and different points of view and outlook on where they fit in as a instrumentalist or performer. Some people, may get into more teaching side, production side, or So I guess it's different for everybody. And for me right now, I actually enjoy a little bit of the stability from developing my teaching studio.
Yeah.
So then I will have a little bit more space to think about what I want to do in terms of performance.
Yeah.
So, rather than try to perform so much that I don't have space to think about what I want for myself as a performer.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if that makes makes a lot of sense for
I mean, yeah,
different
man.
people.
Of course, I understand where you're coming from because, we've always been like doing things for people, right? You was doing for people, working on other people's project, working on different people's different groups, different ensembles. Hey, it's time to reflect on what we ourselves we need to do for ourselves lah.
Yeah.
And that may be in a slightly different course.
Different trajectory.
Different trajectory. Just alter the course a little bit, right? Instead of going over the rough and tumble of being a live musician and performing musician all the time. Take a bit on the easy side, okay? Right, go over the smoother waves, right?
Yeah.
Like a plane, you don't have to fly to the turbulence, so you can fly around it.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. And I guess your life priority changes when we mature in age.
Yeah, of course. And of course, right, with married life is also a different thing. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
So I think my goals in life have definitely changed over the past 3 years, I guess. So I'm working on increasing my student base. I mean, I will be working on some performance projects as well.
Yeah.
Just not as fervent as I used to.
Mm-hmm.
Which is I actually kind of enjoy that. So again, no, this is work-life balance.
Yeah,
Believe
exactly.
It,
That's
believe
the
it
right
or
word.
not.
Yes.
Because we think that as a performer we might be having a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And yes, we do have a lot of fun playing, but now I realize
the balance. The
balance.
balance is important. Yeah. That's very, very true. Very true. Yeah.
And I think we both have had that experience, like when we were younger, is that we take any kind of gig and
we're like gung-ho.
just gung-ho.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. Because, I want to get as much experience as possible.
And with money.
Yes.
And as much money as possible.
Yes.
Plus teaching and plus doing all these other things.
Yeah.
Oh, well. Yeah.
So now is really about really finding work-life balance, I guess.
Balance. That's awesome, man. Yeah. I mean, will we see, because not too long ago was the launch of the Malaysian real book, right? And you performed at the launch as well.
Yes.
with the big band.
Yes.
Yeah.
Julian Chan Jazz Orchestra.
Yeah. So it's called Julian Chan Jazz Orchestra, is it?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So that's the official name.
Yes.
Will we be seeing more of that? Is that the personal thing which?
Yes, it is one of my personal pet projects for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And of course also my small group shows. I mean, I'm not sure how often I get to do it, but I think it's definitely one of my pet projects I will be developing over the next few years.
Yeah.
The big band, because that's something I think that's not very common in Malaysia as well.
Yeah.
Having a big band, a jazz big band, and they are, even though they are large ensembles, big band type kind of thing in RTM, DBKL, they have their own groups, which is great. But this one is,
they're mostly combos, right?
Mostly combos.
It's not really playing the repertoire or the style of what a big band does.
Yeah. So with JCJO, it's like something that's outside of that, which means that I have the leeway to get into playing different kind of repertoire. Whether it's repertoire that I like, or I get to work with different collaborators, and we get to do different projects that otherwise you not normally hear you will not normally hear in those kind of combos, which are linked to, I guess, government or whatever, So this is more of a private institution, I guess. Hopefully it will become an institution.
Hopefully, man. I mean, I think we had this, we chatted about this, and where, I don't know, I had this wild vision in my eyes of, hey, maybe it's something that can happen in every school, every college. They will have, because you have your cadet corps marching band, you have this, you have the traditional music, Chinese music orchestra, all that. why not in schools you have club big band, or something like that. So every school, and more. Malaysian music education in our schools. It's don't have to say lah. It's a far cry lah. It's a sad story lah. But hey, maybe we should start, teaching and introducing more jazz music education at that level, starting from primary school. Yeah, introducing that repertoire,
I hope that will happen soon. And we just never know. Hopefully JCJO will.
What would you need? What would you need? Obviously you need to find players. You need to find people who are committed to it.
Yeah.
Yes.
I guess that's the first step. Really, it's like at least for my orchestra anyway. It's just like having a set group of musicians, a core group, and then really trying to pitch to different schools and different even universities, and because like UPSI in Tanjung Malim, they actually have their own big band.
They do?
Yeah, they do.
Okay.
But because a lot of them are also starting out on those instruments when they go to UPSI.
Yeah,
they're starting from scratch. So when they play in a large ensemble, they I guess they won't be playing too difficult repertoire or anything, just so that they can manage the music.
Yeah.
But that is already such a great starting point for them.
Yeah.
So I hope I think I will be working with Inchik Zamrus, who runs the program in UPSI.
Nice. Yeah.
We'll develop something there. It's still something that we are working on.
Yeah.
Up to
it has to start at our schools and our learning institutions lah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you can't just pull musicians out of there.
No.
It has to start from the
early
grassroots
age.
lah. Yeah, at the grassroots you need to develop and groom these people up.
Yeah. And because jazz music is not something that's developed in Malaysia, but it definitely has spread into Malaysia. Like if you think about it, the RTM, the Radio Orchestra Malaya, back in, I don't know, was it 50s or 60s or something?
Yeah.
They started out playing jazz music.
Yeah.
If you think about it, from the person responsible for the music back then was the late Alfonso Soliano.
Yes.
So the music that they play was very heavily influenced by jazz music from the US. Of course, like how jazz music has evolved over time. So we also adopt some of that stuff, some of that influence here as well. We can't deny that.
Yeah.
And it also brings out a different side of music other than, say, Malaysian traditional music or like wind band music, which also has a long history in schools in Malaysia. So I think introducing jazz repertoire, a lot more modern repertoire, or in that kind of setting in schools can be also good, because at least students have choices.
Yeah, or heck, even like you said, the Malaysian real book.
Yeah.
Even the repertoire of Malaysian songs and Malaysian music, even that, that would be more attractive proposition if you propose to, ministry and government people. They would be more attractive to do that lah.
That's right.
Yeah. But that's such an awesome vision, man. If that can happen, if we see these kind of things, if we see a big band in every school,
that would be very nice.
We got marching band already, what? You just kind of just the shift them. It's just the repertoire and the style of music that they play. Yeah, that's it. That would be such a thing. You would also need, for this kind of thing, you would need funding. You need lots of funding. So, man, I don't know. I mean, I don't have a wide audience. This doesn't get out. It's a super niche. Whoever's hearing this, corporations, corporate sponsors, private, you have angel investors. This would be such a great idea, man, to have, music education in our schools, jazz education in all our schools and universities. Yeah. Yeah,
I mean, if JCJO gets an opportunity to get invested in, those are some of the programs that I would like to work on as well. Other than developing the big band, the jazz orchestra itself into hopefully an independent music institution on its own. Then that way, at least we will have more, I guess, influence and to get into the schools. I mean, whether it's government funded or whether they are international schools, private, at least if JCJO becomes a music institution, then there will be some kind of influence into the schools.
So
love to be part of that.
any of the Bitcoin investors or anything, come on, man. It's something cool. You can work out some NFT collaborations as well.
Wow, that would be so interesting.
Okay, there's another field which is really too much to talk about. Right?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, the confluence between music, jazz music, big band music, and NFTs. Oh, well, no one has ever done it yet, right?
Nope, not yet.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah, we could always dream, man. There's so many things.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so what else is store? Are there any gigs coming up? You are actually, we're recording this on Friday 22nd. You're actually having
my live stream.
The live stream, right? Concert this Sunday 24th.
Yep.
Yeah, but by the time this podcast comes out, it's already over.
Yeah.
But you can still watch it, right?
Yes. Yeah.
It will be on, where will it be?
It will be on my YouTube channel.
Yeah.
You can just search for Julian Chan Music. I still have an archive of some of my live streams from the previous ones, but this one will also be on there as well.
And I also saw something that you're up to with Julian Chan Quintet.
Yes.
When is that?
So that's going to happen on April 30th.
April 30th.
That's on
okay, right.
Saturday. It will be for International Jazz Day, and it will be at Bobo KL. So, because Bobo KL, they have not had an International Jazz Day celebration for the past 2 years, for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
So I'm playing for that with my group, Julian Chan Quintet.
Yeah.
It will be myself, trumpet player, and rhythm section, and I'm gonna have Kirana K to guest on a few tunes, and vocals with us
on 30th April. Alamak. So I don't think I'm putting this out. So by the time this comes out, it will already been been over.
Over.
Unfortunately,
but that's cool.
Yeah. Beyond that, anything
at
planned
the moment
yet that
no,
you can share
yet.
Stuff that's in the works, or you can't talk about it yet?
Yeah, I can't really talk about it yet also, and I mean that's definitely not yet, but I think if there will be, then just stay tuned to my channel, or I will definitely announce it on my IG and Facebook and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'll leave all your links and everything down in the video description, man. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. I got maybe just 2 or just random questions that I'm just going to throw. It's going to come out of left field. All right. What does music mean to you? to sort of wrap things up, what does music mean to you?
Well, music to me is a part of my life. It's a part of my life. It's been a very big part of my life, also because it's become a career for me. And I mean, I love music since I was a kid. I mean, I've been listening to music since I was young. Anyway, I think most of us have, and I love music as much as I enjoy playing the saxophone. But I'm also realizing that it's also just a section of my life. That it played a very important part of my life that that it's become my career. But it's also a small part of my life. Believe it or not, I'm working on discovering what's outside of that.
What's outside of music?
Yeah.
Right.
And and music is a way of expressing myself, at least a part of myself. It's not the entire part of myself, but it's something that I enjoy doing a lot. And I think I also really enjoy being able to do something that enables people to just enjoy themselves and just free themselves from whatever kind of life circumstances, life situations, even for just a few hours.
Right.
At least they come what I like to do for my audiences is that when they come to watch my show, they get to just be part of a enjoyable, wonderful experience just for that short moment. And if they can take some of that really nice feelings back home with them, and it helps them to like just enjoy part of their life for that moment.
Or make it to the miserable existence.
I hope not. I hope not.
Of a 9 to 5 job.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, folks, to make it sound so dark. Yeah.
But really, music really is entertainment. It's entertainment because it enables people to just enjoy the part of their day, part of their life, even if it's just for a short moment. If they can take back good memories from listening to what I did, I think I've done my job.
Yeah.
And if I've done my job well, I guess I'm happy.
That's awesome. Yeah. That's a great answer, man. I mean, you've thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
You kind of answered like partially. You also answered my second one, which was about what is life to you, lah. So So partially you kind of answered that as well.
Yeah.
Okay, one last one before we wrap it up. What would be your best piece of advice? I know you said that it's hard to give a general advice, but if there was one, what would your best piece of advice for anyone who's thinking of going into music or studying into music or getting a career in music lah?
Don't. No, I'm just kidding. Well, I am partially kidding.
Yeah, there's truth in that.
Yeah,
there is brutal truth in that. Okay. But But seriously, if it's just a kid, if I was just one kid coming up to you, Abang Julian, I want to belajar, I want to study, nak study music lah. Apa nasihat? Macam mana? What should I do?
Well,
maybe more, practical. What should I do?
Yeah, I guess my standard advice has always been to practice. So get good at your instrument. But beneath that, and I think the really important part is to have a passion for it. To have a passion for what you do, really enjoy to the point that you really enjoy just doing it. That and be able to get to that mind space of practicing without having to think that, okay, I'm going to be great. But practice to the point, that, okay, I'm getting better today than I did yesterday. So just being consistent.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to be someone who to reach or to get into career in music, talk to as many people as possible and find out as many things as you can from people who are in industry. Come and like if you come to my gig and come and say hi and ask for some tips or whatever, I will happily pass whatever I can on. I think just enjoy it, learn as much as you can from it, and if you really want to do it, just go for it. Really, just and be persistent, persevere, and sometimes it can be tough. It's part and parcel of life, I guess. And just just keep going at it. Really, if that's something you really really want, to be good at your instrument, just go for it. Just do what it takes to get better at playing your instrument better and playing your music better. And two, if you really want to be in the music business, also just go for it, because there will be a lot of people that will try to stop you in a way that they will give you advice that
like saying don't.
Yeah, I mean, and maybe that's not the best idea to start. No, but just go for it. Just really go for it, and understand that there will always be risks, and keep an open mind
Yeah.
to it as well, because it really isn't for anybody. I mean, I got to be real here.
Yeah.
It's not for everybody. Not everybody will be in music, even though they may think that they are, but it's not. Even not everybody can be a performer. Not everybody can be a producer or whatever they want to be. But it doesn't mean that it's going to stop you from trying it out. But if you come to a point where, you find that, okay, this might not be for me, there will always be other avenues in music.
Yep.
So I think just keep an open mind
Yeah.
about things. I think that's really, that's the best advice I can kind of give.
Wise words of encouragement indeed, right? From the wise Julian Chan. Yeah.
I don't
Julian
know.
the Wise.
I don't know if I'm actually that wise, but, and again, this is also my personal experience.
Yeah.
And
And that counts, you see.
yeah.
Because the lessons that can be learned just from listening to people's account of their stories and their experiences is valuable. That was one of the main reasons why I'm doing this, and I talk to all these people anyway, because
Yeah.
I learned so much just from talking with you.
Wow.
Right.
Thank you.
Yeah, personally, I'm learning a lot of things every day, and from all the conversations I've had, because we never had this opportunity to. I mean, if it was other people or musicians or engineers, it's always within the confines of work, in the studio and all
Yeah.
that. Of course, we sometimes would hang out in Mama and all that, but I miss that,
Yeah.
and just talk about stuff that's not related to work.
Yeah. But I think we can do that now, right?
You can't do that now, but sometimes, because I also feel like I've not been able to do that for a long time,
Yeah.
not hanging out. Also because really when you're getting older, you don't want to hang out in Baba
Too late.
2 to 3 a.m. like we used to lah.
Yeah.
But it's valuable, man, just hearing what you got to say. And
Yeah.
someone's going to listen to it and say, oh yeah, okay, this is what I can do. Oh, okay, studying overseas, yeah, this is things I have to prepare myself, what I can get ready. Oh, what to expect. If one day I'll get my first paying gig, this is what kind of the things to expect.
Yeah.
Be prepared to wear a floral costume or and sombreros.
Yeah, that's true.
Or something like that. Yeah.
I mean, I just thought of something just a moment ago. I think like the pieces of advice that I gave earlier, it also sounds quite directed. But I guess if even more general, I guess, is just listen to your heart. Listen to your heart and just go wherever your heart tells you to go until you can't. Because that's, I guess, when you reach that point, then it will kind of naturally take you to a direction that you're supposed to go, where your path is. Which when I say listen to your heart, sometimes it also means not listening to what other people say, including myself. I have to tell my students
you got to make up your own damn mind.
You just have to go through your experiences, and sometimes I may say certain things at a certain point in where I am, and it may not apply to you. So sometimes you just have to also not listen to what I say and just go for whatever your heart tells you. I think that's the best advice I can also give.
All right, man. Let's wrap this up, man. Yeah. Where can people reach you?
All right. I'm on most of the social media. I'm on Facebook, Julian Chan Music. I'm on YouTube, Julian Chan Music. I'm on Instagram, Julian Chan Music. And I'm also on TikTok, Julian Chan Music.
Yay, TikTok. Right.
That's kind of still challenging for me to get into, but
I also got a TikTok account. I also have, but it's just there to book the name lah.
Yeah, me too.
I haven't posted much contents up there yet. It takes a lot of time,
Yes,
a lot of effort.
it
to
really
create
does.
content for social media.
It really does.
Yeah. So folks, this is how you want to reach. Anyone who wants to learn, pick up the saxophone. Right, Julian Chan is open for my friend Julian is open for lessons. And everybody wants to get on board with the effort for the Julian Chan Jazz Orchestra. All right, get in touch with Julian, man. Right.
Yes, please do.
All right. So thanks again, Julian. Right.
Thanks, JD. Thanks for having me. It's such a pleasure. I really enjoy our conversation.
Likewise, pleasure is mine. All right. Bye, folks. Bye-bye.